All right, strap in, everybody, because today we're going deep on chaos magic.
Oh, yeah.
We're using Dave Lee's Chaotopia, Sorcery, and Ecstasy in the Fifth Eon as our roadmap. And let me tell you, this book is a trip.
It definitely takes a sledgehammer to traditional magic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really throws out the rule book.
Yeah.
It's all about, like, forging your own path and experimenting, not just blindly following some ancient dogma.
Right. And one of the things that Lee brings up that I think is really interesting is this whole idea of belief as a technique.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's like chaos magic in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the core things that really sets it apart.
It's about choosing your beliefs as tools, to shape your reality.
Yeah, almost like saying, okay, I've got this big presentation coming up, so I'm just going to believe that I'm a charismatic speaker.
Totally.
Even if I don't feel like it right now.
And then that shift in belief actually, changes your behavior,
Yeah.
changes your confidence, and ultimately, shapes the outcome.
Yeah, it's almost like self-hypnosis.
Yeah.
But on this grander scale,
For sure.
it makes you realize, how much power our beliefs really do have
Absolutely.
in shaping our experiences.
And Lee, he talks about how important it is to, question those limiting beliefs that we have.
Right.
And to adopt new ones that actually empower us.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of on that note of empowering beliefs, Lee introduces this fascinating framework for understanding consciousness, the Eighth Circuit model.
Yeah, the Eight Circuits.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I first saw that, I was like, oh gosh, this sounds complicated. But the way Lee explains it,
Right.
It's like a roadmap of the human mind.
It's a good analogy, like a roadmap.
It is.
And each circuit represents a different level of consciousness, starting with basic survival instincts, moving all the way up through emotional and intellectual and even transpersonal experiences.
It's like a video game. You're leveling up as you activate higher circuits. Right?
Yeah.
You're gaining new abilities and perspectives.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. It's like progressively expanding your awareness and understanding these circuits is key for chaos magicians.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they can learn to navigate and manipulate these states to achieve specific goals.
Right, so it's not just about randomly entering some altered state.
Exactly.
It's about understanding, okay, which circuit did I need to access to achieve this specific thing?
Yes.
And how do I get there intentionally?
Yeah.
That's where the real magic happens, right?
That's where the magic is, yeah.
Yeah.
And this leads us to a topic that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people.
Okay.
Wealth magic versus money magic.
Okay. All right. Now we're talking. What's the difference?
So Lee argues that money magic often stems from a scarcity mindset,
Okay.
a fear of lack, and just a focus on accumulating money, as a parameter.
Right. Yeah. I think we've all been there. Stressing about bills, feeling like there's never enough.
For sure. It's a trap.
It is. It is a trap.
Yeah, but wealth magic takes a totally different approach, It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance.
Oh.
Viewing wealth as a skill and as a state of being.
So it's about shifting your perspective from how do I get more money to how do I become a wealthier person?
Exactly.
What are the skills? What are the mindset?
Yeah, and it's about identifying your true desires and then aligning your actions with those.
It's like that saying, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you freedom.
Yeah.
And that freedom can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life.
Right. That's a great way to put it, yeah. And Lee, he really challenges us to, to look inward.
Yeah.
And to examine our relationship with money and with wealth,
Yeah.
What are our beliefs? What are our true desires? It's about taking responsibility for our own financial well-being.
And that self-awareness is crucial.
It is.
Right. Because sometimes it's our own limiting beliefs about money that sabotage our efforts to achieve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's this idea of confronting our shadows, our fears, that leads us to another fascinating, albeit slightly edgy, aspect of chaos magical conflict.
Right. All right. Now we're getting into the good stuff.
Yeah.
Curses, hexes, psychic attacks, the whole 9 yards.
Well, yes and no. Lee emphasizes that not every negative experience is a psychic attack.
Yeah.
It could just be, stress or a bad environment or just plain bad luck.
So before we go pointing fingers and blaming some dark magician for our misfortune.
Exactly.
Maybe we should look a little closer to home.
Exactly. But if you do find yourself, facing a genuine magical conflict,
Okay.
Lee offers this powerful technique called outflanking belief.
Outflanking belief. Okay, I like that. It sounds like a Jedi mind trick or something.
It kind of is.
How does that work?
It's about broadening your perspective, you know?
Okay.
Shifting your mindset to encompass a wider view of reality.
Okay.
So he uses the example of a character in Crowley's novel Moonchild,
Okay.
who, when faced with this, like, terrifying entity, he doesn't fight it directly.
Okay.
He absorbs it
Oh, wow.
by drawing on the vastness of his, like, Taoist worldview.
So it's about transcending the conflict.
Yes.
By shifting to a higher level of understanding.
Exactly.
It's like rising above the drama.
Exactly. It's about finding that, like, inner peace and strength.
Yeah.
That can't be shaken by external forces.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
It really flips the script on how we typically approach conflict.
Yeah.
Inner peace as a weapon against chaos. I love it.
It is. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And speaking of changing our perspective,
Okay.
Lee takes us on this mind-bending journey
Right.
into the realm where chaos magic intersects with modern physics.
Get it. This is where things get a little trippy for me.
Like magic and physics, how do those two even go together?
I know, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
But Lee, he dives into how modern physics, especially quantum mechanics,
Okay.
is starting to incorporate consciousness
Right.
into its models of reality.
So we're moving beyond that old idea of a purely material universe.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that consciousness plays a role.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lee gets into some really fascinating territory,
Okay.
exploring the concept of consciousness as a large-scale quantum state,
Okay.
specifically a Bose-Einstein condensate, or BEC,
BEC, condensate.
in the brain.
Feel like I'm back in physics class, but in a good way.
It's cool stuff, right?
It is, yeah, it is.
So think of a BEC as a state where a bunch of particles all act like a single entity,
Okay.
a unified wave, like a choir,
Okay.
where all the voices blend into one perfect harmony.
So our consciousness is not just a bunch of neurons firing randomly.
No.
It's a unified field. Yes, that's the idea.
Okay, all right.
And this opens up all sorts of possibilities for how magic might work, you know?
Yeah.
Lee explores the concept of consciousness overlap,
Okay.
where individual minds can actually interact, or even merge on a deeper level.
So we're talking about like the scientific basis for
Yes.
group mind experiences, telepathy, maybe even magical influence.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it lends credence to the idea that our thoughts and intentions can have a real impact
Yeah.
on the world around us.
My mind is officially blown.
Good.
This deep dive is getting deeper by the minute.
We've only scratched the surface.
Oh boy.
Next, we're going to delve into the world of servitors, those magical entities that can be programmed to carry out our will.
Okay.
Get ready for a wild ride.
Hi, Pratis and Sorries. Here I came to you to explain why and what it's all about. It's not only about chaos magic, but I can say in stages I will send a lot of videos about one or other subject until finish it. So someone who care about those books and search for information about it can learn or can have some information about it. So please follow up the channel here in the
Chaos Magic Time.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we left off, we were starting to talk about servitors,
Oh yeah. Servitors.
which sound a little like something out of a fantasy novel.
Right,
But
right.
they really represent, I think, a really intriguing blend of psychology and practical magic.
Yeah, I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, cool.
Can we just start with a simple definition? What is a servitor in this context?
Yeah, so think of it this way. A servitor is like a thought or an intention that's been given form and energy through magical practice.
Okay.
So you're essentially creating an independent entity with a specific purpose.
So you're building your own little magical helper
That's one way to think about it.
to do your bidding.
It could be something as simple as, attracting luck,
Okay.
or it could be a more complex task like influencing a particular situation or something.
Okay, so how do you actually create one of these things?
Whoa.
Is it as simple as snapping your fingers and saying, serve it or go do this?
I wish it were that easy.
Right.
But it's a little more involved than that.
Okay.
It usually involves techniques like visualization, ritual, and focused intention.
Okay.
But instead of like calling upon an existing entity,
Right.
you're actually building one from scratch, you
Yeah.
know, shaping it with your own will and energy.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
It is.
But also maybe a little risky, right?
Yes.
Like, what are the different theories out there
Yeah.
about how servitors actually work?
Yeah, there are a few different schools of thought on that.
Okay.
Some believe that they are like totally independent entities residing on another plane of existence, and they're like carrying out your will in the physical world.
Okay.
Others suggest that they're more like extensions of your own subconscious mind, right?
Okay.
Projections of your own desires and intentions.
So it could be like a separate being, or it could be like a part of yourself that you've trained
Exactly.
for a very specific job, like sending your subconscious on an errand.
Exactly, yeah. And then there's even the theory that servitors don't actually exist at all,
Okay.
and that the effects that are attributed to them
Right.
are just the result of your own subconscious mind.
Like a placebo effect almost.
Kind of, yeah, like you believe it's working, so it does.
Right.
But regardless of whether it's a separate entity or a projection of your subconscious, the power of belief plays a huge role.
There's that belief as a technique again.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Are there, like, different types of servitors?
That's a good question. Are there?
There are,
Yeah.
and within this world of servitors,
Mhm.
there are some that are considered particularly powerful and potentially even chaotic.
Yeah.
Tulpas.
Tulpas.
Yeah,
That sounds intense.
it is.
What makes them different from regular servitors?
So think of a tulpa as a servitor on steroids.
All right.
It's a thought form that's been imbued with a high degree of independence and sentience.
Okay.
They can be incredibly powerful allies,
Okay.
but they can also be unpredictable,
Right.
and in some cases even dangerous.
So you're basically creating something with a mind of its own.
You are.
And that, like, really could backfire.
Yeah, it definitely requires a high level of skill and responsibility.
Yeah.
There are stories of tulpas, turning on their creators or becoming uncontrollable. So it's not something to be taken lightly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It makes you wonder where all this power is coming from.
Yeah,
Is it pure willpower?
that's a great question. And it kind of leads us to the role of ecstasy in chaos magic.
Okay.
And I want to be clear here. We're not just talking about like pleasure or enjoyment.
Right.
We're talking about tapping into a source of power and transformation.
Okay. So how does ecstasy, in this sense, connect to magical practice?
So Lee makes a distinction between what he calls the classical mind,
Okay.
which is our everyday, like, ego-driven consciousness.
Right.
And the quantum mind,
Okay.
which is a state of pure awareness, unburdened by the limitations of the self.
So it's like those higher circuits of the 8 circuit model,
Exactly.
accessing those expanded states.
Exactly. And Lee suggests that ecstatic experiences, those moments when we transcend our normal sense of self,
Yep.
can act as gateways to the quantum mind,
Okay.
a source of immense power and creativity.
So it's not about getting high or having a good time. It's about breaking through those ego boundaries
Yeah.
and tapping into a deeper level of reality.
Exactly, yeah. And this ties into the concept of the holy guardian angel,
Oh,
a spiritual guide that embodies this state of timeless ecstasy and wisdom.
so it's like having a direct line to that higher level of consciousness. A source of guidance and inspiration.
That's one way to think about it.
Okay.
And Lee, he really encourages readers to,
Yeah.
explore this concept for themselves, to
Okay.
see if they can connect with this higher power within.
This all feels very, like, personal and subjective.
It is.
Like each individual's path
Yeah.
to ecstasy and the holy guardian angel
Yeah.
is unique.
Absolutely. And it's this emphasis on individual exploration and discovery
Okay.
that brings us to Lee's vision of the Pandemonium and Chaotopia.
Okay, these are great
It's
terms.
fun, aren't they?
Yeah, it sounds like something out of like a sci-fi epic.
They are.
What do they represent?
So, the Pandemonium, according to Lee, is the emerging 5th eon,
Right.
an era characterized by chaos, technology, information overload,
This is sounding familiar.
and a yearning for meaning in a fragmented world.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the world we live in.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And within this context,
Right.
Chaotopia is a realm of pure potentiality,
Okay.
a place where desire manifests into reality.
Okay.
Imagine a blank canvas
All right.
where you can create your own personalized utopia.
So it's not like a fixed place or a fixed state of being.
No.
It's more of a concept,
It is. It is.
a vision of what's possible if we can harness that
Yes.
power of chaos and intention.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Lee challenges us to,
Yeah.
envision our own ideal reality
Okay.
to tap into that creative power of Chaotopia
All right.
and shape our own destinies.
This is where things get exciting.
It is.
It's like a call to action.
It is.
Right. A challenge to embrace the chaos and create something extraordinary.
Exactly. And it's this interplay of personal transformation and collective evolution
Right.
that makes chaos magic so compelling.
Okay, so we've created our servitors.
We have.
We've tapped into the power of ecstasy.
Yes.
We've glimpsed the potential of Chaotopia.
We have.
What's next?
Next, we're going to explore an often overlooked aspect of chaos magic.
Okay.
Body alchemy and healing.
Okay.
Get ready to discover how we can transform not just our minds, but our physical selves as well.
This video is intended to guide people who are still seeking knowledge about the subject that the book deals with. But more important than the video are our experience with it. So, sharing our personal experience with the book covered in this video is very important in the comments. We thank you in advance for this wonderful contribution.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. It's time to wrap up our exploration of chaos magic, and I'm really excited about this last section. We've talked about the mind, we've talked about consciousness, but now we're getting into something pretty vital, our physical self,
Yes.
body alchemy and healing.
I think what's fascinating about this is that Dave Lee really challenges conventional medical thinking.
Yeah.
He acknowledges the incredible achievements of Western medicine, but he argues that it often misses the mark
Okay.
when it comes to understanding the root causes of illness.
So it's not about throwing out modern medicine entirely,
Right.
but recognizing that it might not have all the answers.
Exactly. He suggests that a lot of our illnesses stem from our internal states, our beliefs, our emotions, even repressed energy.
Right.
And that's where chaos magic offers a totally different perspective.
It sounds like a more holistic approach, recognizing that the mind and body are interconnected.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
He emphasizes our own self-healing abilities,
Right.
which he believes have been suppressed by our reliance on external medical authority.
It's like we've outsourced our health.
We have.
Right. Forgetting that our bodies have this incredible capacity to heal themselves.
Absolutely. And chaos magic, with its focus on manipulating consciousness and energy, gives us the tools
Yeah.
to reclaim that power.
So how do these tools actually work?
Yeah.
What are some of the techniques that Lee talks about?
One technique that he brings up that I think is really interesting is the cultivation of what he calls the dark senses.
Dark senses. Like
And these are the subtle, often overlooked sensory experiences that lie beneath our normal awareness.
okay, dark senses sounds a bit mysterious.
It does, doesn't it?
What are we talking about here?
Think about like the feeling you get when someone's staring at you, even though you can't see them.
Right.
Or like the subtle shift in the air right before a storm, It's about tuning into those intuitive, often subconscious perceptions.
So it's like developing a sixth sense almost.
Yeah, like becoming more attuned to subtle energies around us.
Right.
And Lee believes that these dark senses can give us valuable information
Oh, wow.
about our bodies, about the environment,
Great.
helping us identify imbalances and potential health issues
Okay.
before they become major problems.
So it's about becoming more aware of our internal states,
Yes,
right? Like listening to those subtle cues that our bodies are giving us all the time.
exactly. And we can further enhance this awareness
Okay.
through practices like breath work,
Okay.
visualization, and energy manipulation.
Right. And these are techniques that pop up in a lot of different, like,
Yeah.
mystical and magical traditions. There's something to them.
There is. And Lee's a big proponent of breath work,
Okay.
especially what's called connected breathing,
Okay.
to shift consciousness, release blocked energy, and promote healing.
It's incredible how something as simple as changing the way we breathe can have such a profound impact
It is.
on our physical and mental well-being.
It's powerful. And when you combine breath work with visualization,
Okay.
where we use our imagination to direct healing energy to specific areas,
Right.
the effects can be quite powerful.
So it's not about just passively waiting for healing to happen.
No,
It's about actively participating in the process,
it is.
using our mind,
Yeah.
using our breath to influence the flow of energy
Yes, exactly.
in our bodies.
And this brings us to another intriguing aspect of body alchemy,
Okay.
the use of elixirs.
Elixirs. All right, now we're talking. Are we talking about like magical potions?
Well, not quite in the traditional sense.
Okay.
Lee uses elixir more broadly to encompass everything from herbal remedies
Okay.
to, well, more esoteric concoctions
Right.
like sexually charged fluids.
Things just got interesting.
The point is that everything we ingest, whether it's physical or energetic, has
Yeah.
the potential to transform our bodies and minds.
So it's about being mindful of what we consume on every level.
Yes.
Recognizing that it all has an effect.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And this mindful consumption extends to what Lee calls chemognostic sacraments.
Okay.
Or, in simpler terms, psychedelics.
Psychedelics, always a fascinating and controversial topic.
They are. Lee acknowledges the potential risks involved.
Right.
But he also emphasizes their power to unlock profound healing and transformation
Okay.
when used responsibly.
It's about respecting the power of these substances
Yes.
and using them as tools for exploration and growth, not just chasing a recreational high.
Exactly. And he emphasizes the importance of set and setting,
Right.
the mindset and environment in shaping the psychedelic experience
Right.
and maximizing its potential benefits.
This all circles back to that idea that we're not just passive recipients of healing, we're active participants.
Yeah.
We shape the process with our intentions, with our awareness.
Yes, that's the empowering message of chaos magic.
It really is. It's about taking responsibility for our own well-being, exploring our full potential, and ultimately shaping our reality.
And as we wrap up this deep dive into chaos magic,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay.
If Chaotopia is a realm where desire manifests into reality,
Yeah.
what does your ideal state of health and well-being look like?
That's a powerful question to consider, and as always, we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas, experiment with the techniques, and discover your own unique path to Chaotopia. For those of you who want to go deeper, be sure to check out Dave Lee's Chaotopia, Sorcery and Ecstasy in the Fifth Aeon. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those intentions alive.